What is up, YouTube? That's here, and today I'm doing more Patreon team fixing. Today, we're finally taking a look at Ho-Oh. This team is submitted by Lance VGC on my Patreon, and I think they did a really good job. I like all 6 of these mons for the most part. I think they added the right type of Pokemon using like Grimmsnarl, Ogerpon, and Goldango to cover up for some of the bad matchups Ho-Oh might have. If you guys have a team you guys want me to take a look at, fix, polish up, shine, and do my absolute best to make it the best possible team it could possibly be, think about checking out the Patreon. It's going to be over here. And basically, $2 tier, the lowest tier, gets access to this submission post, all my rentals, everything the Patreon has to offer. Think about checking it out and, let me help you make your teams actually work. So we're scrolling down here, looking at this team from Lance here. They really like Ho-Oh Grimm, and I really like how in-depth they went going over like their matchups. They talked about how they do versus Groudon, how they do versus Shadow Rider, and they even talked about like some matchups that are problematic, like things like Rayquaza, things like Miraidon. And so I really like how in-depth they went. So I know exactly what we need to fix where they feel pressured with this team. So hopefully when we do this team fixing, we'll be able to help facilitate and add some things that can cover up for some of those bad matchups. I don't think there is a way to make a team good into every matchup, but we can actually really help you in some of these bad ones without sacrificing what this team does well, I think. If we take a look at the actual team submitted, I think we need to change some of these EVs. I feel a few of them are wasting points. Seems like this Ho-Oh's wasting some points. I feel like Glamora might even need to be changed. They said I can change every single Pokemon but Ho-Oh and Grimm, which I think Ho-Oh and Grimm go so well together. So really good choice picking those mons early for Reg G. I don't think Glamora is that good in Reg G though. I think it's actually not worth the slot in a format that's so centered around restricted. Like being able to potentially poison a restricted just isn't really worth it because like they're gonna outvalue you with their teammates. Like you could poison them and then they have an Amoonguss that just like side paw and buffs their restricted every single turn, and their restricted just rolls you over. So I think Glamora is a little bit dated, like a relic of the past at this point. But I do think this team is actually really cool, and I like a lot of like the slight tech options. I think that like things like Grassy, Surge, like Meadow Plate, like or Miracle Seed Rillaboom are really good in the meta right now. I think Ogerpon's a perfect mount for this team, be able to cover up for some of Ho-Oh's weaknesses and Goldango's weaknesses. So I think this team is like, if I were to rate it right now, this team would get a 91. Because there's only a few small little changes we can make, but if we make those changes, this team is going to shine so bright. It's going to be the best Ho-Oh team you've ever seen. So what we're going to do right now is go play a few games on the ladder. Just play a couple games, see if I can understand kind of what Lance was thinking. Maybe we'll see if we can find some of those bad matchups. Then we're going to do some fixings. Then we're going to play a few more games on Showdown with the fixed team. So if that sounds fun to you, sit back, max, relax, act all cool, and we're going to hop to some games. Wish me luck. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Rayquaza, Shenpao, Landorus, Fluttermane. Is that Galarian, Zapdos, and Ogerpon Fire? That's actually really cool. Like a really good take. This is like the new Pao Knight. A lot of people are using Gray as like a substitution for Dragonite. It's probably going to be either Bandit or AV. Probably be a Booster Flutter. Sash Pao. I wonder what item is on the Zapdos. Maybe a Cloak? I could see Cloak on there. I could see Orb. Maybe more defensive item, maybe like safety goggles could be a really good item on that Zapdos. Landorus is going to have the orbs. Yeah, I think goggles is a good item on that Zapdos. Maybe cloak, so I got to watch out for that. I'm trying to think what I need to bring here in this matchup. I actually really like the Grimm here. I was looking back at what they said in their team submission post about how like they kind of struggle against, you know, Miraidon because they can't like really control it that well, and they're using Thunder Wave. Maybe you might want to use Scary Face. Scary Face might be better because you can also Scary Face that Lander. That'd be kind of nice. I do think Ho-Oh is a mon that we can definitely lead here. I will lead the Ho-Oh. I think it's safe enough to lead here. I don't think we need to bring Rilla as a lead. I think it can be a good pivot. But I think like Ho-Oh Grimm, because they don't really have Fake Out, I think we just get up our screens and we're good to go there. I think we're going to definitely bring the Dango. And it'd be nice to have like a better form of speed control. I don't think we necessarily need this. I'm going to bring the Redirection from the Ogerpon as my last mon in the back, and we're going to try this. I think the biggest issue with this team, if I'm being completely honest, is this team's lack of speed control. And the fact that like Rillaboom's a cool mon and it can support things like the Goldango and the Ogerpon through the use of its grassy terrain. But when you're facilitating adding mons to support a non-restricted as opposed to supporting a restricted, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. Because yes, Ho-Oh can get the recovery from the grassy terrain if it's grounded thanks to like its Fairy Terra typing, but I don't necessarily think that's like it's having to do a lot of work to facilitate something that doesn't necessarily need like a buff. Like a Hospitality Sinistcha might be just a better mon in that situation. So I think we see Ray and Pao, so we can just go we can just go Reflect. I think Reflect's a good play here. I think I'm actually just going to Protect. If you want to double into the Grim, that's going to unlock my ability to bring out something like a Dango in the back. So Reflex up. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So Protect, Reflect, in the next turn, like either like a Thunder Wave or just like a big Spirit Break into the Shenpao. Should be good. A lot of Ho-Ohs don't usually carry Protect either. They can totally try and nuke this thing, but we're going to get the Reflect up. They did not get the one shot. And I don't really care if they double into the Grim. Like I said, it's not that important. It's very risky for them to do that, by the way. This lead that they're doing here, super risky. What if I just Sacred Fired your Shenpao? You were just gonna let that happen? I don't think that's the right play. This turn though, they're probably gonna play it a little bit more reactive, but we already got up our Reflect, so we should be good to go. So I think in this board state situation, I could Nasty Plot. We don't necessarily need it. I think I'm gonna Protect the Dango though, and just go for a Sacred Fire into the Ray. I'm gonna get a burn there, and then after that, I'm going to pivot out here, block a Sucker Punch, go into the Ogre Pawn, and we'll probably be fine. So they're pivoting out this Ray. What is the pivot in here? What is the pivot? Lando, maybe? Yeah, Lando's good pivot there. Good play. So again, we have that Ogre Pawn as the pivot to be able to block that Earth Pow if we need it. I don't think they're protecting Pow, but they should have. Like, I can't believe this Pow is being, like, this aggressive. We could have, like, absolutely rolled it, like, 3 times by now, but I think we're still fine. So remember, this Lando has the defense drop from the Pow on the board. If we got a burn, that'd be great. Never lucky. So this turn I'm going to go after the Pow. Go after Pow here. Pivot in our Ogre Pawn to block an Earth Power. Yes, there is still that Ray in the back, but I do think that like Goldango can have a really good matchup into Ray because they're banded. So either they're going to have to come in and lock in like some sort of maybe ground attack they have, and we can always Terra away on the Dango. I think our Terra is probably something like Fairy. Normal. Wow, that's a weird one. Yeah, we're ignoring the Lando. We're going to go for Pow this turn. Note that the Pow did not use Protect. And if we get the burn, we're great. Yeah, they're going after that same slot. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We do hit our Sacred Fire. Big damage. Super effective. Can we get the burn? 50%. 50% chance burn here. Can we get that? It'd be really nice. It'd be game ending. Never lucky, bro. 2 Sacred Fires, no burn. Yo, what's the point of this Pokemon anymore? We don't want to miss the Sacred Fire, so we're just going to go for a Brave Bird here. Think about what I need to do here. I do not mind just Spiky Shielding, because if they actually attack that slot, trying to go for like something with the Lando, they're going to lose their POW. They can totally hit the Ho-Oh. We don't really care about that. You can double into Ho-Oh. Sucker Punch, that's a good play from them. They were Sucker Punch in the Ogre Pawn. So I'm not letting them take the Ogre Pawn out. This person's playing super aggressive. That POW is not protected once. Like, so it's shown Sucker Punch, Crunch, Icicle Crash. I don't think they have Protect, which is why they haven't been using it. Huh. Weird, but it's fine. I know that we went for a Brave Bird there instead of a Sacred Fire, just didn't want to miss the Sacred Fire. So Ray's going to come back out. It's going to re-lock into some stuff. Oh, it's not going to be Ray. It's going to be Fire Pawn. And they still have Fire Terra as an option. I think I'm going to just Terrastalize my Ogre Pawn and just start trading with the Fire Pawn. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I Pivot in Dango. Pivot in Dango is actually not a bad play because they're going to go for like a big like Wood Hammer or something. I don't mind that. Yeah, Dango's, they're not going to go for a fire attacking because like I could go Terra. They're going to go for a grass attack into the Ogre Pawn because it'd be neutral against normal Ogre Pawn, and if I Terrastalize, I take even more damage from a grass attack. So like I think if they do have Protect, so no Sacred Sword. It's good to know. Man, finally you dropped the Protect. SD in my face. Bro, you SD in my face, but you don't Terra in front of the Brave Bird Bot? I don't know, man. I don't know. This guy's like, he chose option not correct. We take a lot of recoil there, but I still think we're fine. Now the Shenpao has a Protect on cooldown, so we can just get it off the board. And I don't think Ray can correctly lock into enough stuff to get us off the board. I think they're going to double into the POW. Sorry, they're going to double into Ho-Oh here. We still have Reflect up though. So like even if they go like Icicle Crash and E-Speed, even if they go like normal Terra, I think that is completely fine. I think the best thing that we can do here, honestly, is just get damage in on POW at no matter what the cost. Like I think this is just the right play. It will guarantee give us the win to get POW off the board here because Ray's a single target attacker. It just is going to spread them a little bit too thin. And we don't care if they wanted to Terra. Looks like they're not Terrastalizing their Ray, which is fine with me. Be funny if they were going for like a Shadow Ball. We know they don't have Sacred Sword, so we don't have to worry about that. Sucker Punch into Ho-Oh. Crit would be really bad. There's that crit. Talk about never lucky. Dragon's Ascent. Cool. I mean, we did the right play, right? We got the right Mons off the board. They lock into Dragon's Ascent. I mean, Dragon's Ascent's still going to be able to do a lot to all of our Mons, but we have like Redirection, and I think a second Mega Rage should be able to take this thing out. This Duolingo only has like 20 points in special attack, but I think like because of the stat drop, yeah, we're going to be absolutely fine, especially if they get a second one, right? So I think we're okay. I think we're going to be okay. We could even like go for something like, we could, I mean, it sucks they crit us with a Sucker Punch, right? Not that bad, but still. I'm thinking if we could go for like a Follow Me or something here. Like Follow Me Nasty Plot. I don't think we need to. I think like just Follow Me is probably fine. We could even Spiky Shield, but I don't want to get like, you don't want to Spiky Shield and get crit on your Dango with that, right? So I think just Follow Me. They have to Dragon Ascent again. They're getting another stat drop. Even though we also get a stat drop, I think he'll still do about the same amount of damage and we'll be fine. Here we go. And let's see. Dragon's Ascent. So Ogerpon's going to take the fat L, but I do think that Dango should be able to take this one. Single target. Yeah, this is also single target. Last one was a spread damage. We should be fine here. I don't think there's a low roll world where like we don't get this one. And make it rain, make it pain. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? We take the wins. So I think they mentioned, I think Lance mentioned in the little write-up that Rayquaza could be a bit of a hard matchup because it's like a lot of aggression early, and it's hard to fight that aggression with the lack of speed control. And that person also played weird, like not protecting POW. They let themselves potentially get burned multiple times, but we still won. So we had like bad RNG, we got crit, and we still won. So I think just like when you're playing against Ray, maybe what you want to think of is like they have to be really one-dimensional, and a lot of their Mons are all single-target attackers. So bringing that Redirection Mon and putting up like the most necessary screen is what you're going to need to do to like facilitate the trades that you want, so you can go for that one big AoE attack or that one big like play where, you know, we got the big Brave Bird in the Ogerpon, or we potentially like could burn the Shenpao with that Sacred Fire. You have to bring the right Mons for the right situations and just get that one turn where you flip the script on and win the game. So hopefully this game helped you understand the matchup just a little bit more. Okay, more POW Knight-esque action with Shenpao. So the thing about this team is like they can only have like one sash. Is it on Shenpao? Is it on Urshi? Is it on Torn? There's only one that they can have. I think that Ho-Oh is very, very good into Zacian. So I think like a Ho-Oh with like an Ogerpon lead gets exactly what we want to do done. They can't just lead Urshi and try and roll us over. They're going to have to go through the Ogerpon. We can also even lead something like this and then pivot in the Ogerpon. I think that's a fair way to look at it. And then I don't really think we need Glamora here. I think Glamora is the weak link, but if you really like that Pokemon, there's nothing really wrong with it. And I understand the value Rilla brings to the table, and it's your check to things like Kyogre. So like I understand like that's why Rilla's in the team in general. Also helps facilitate Goldango. I'm trying to think what we need in the very back here. We're not going to really have any speed control. I think that you should just bring Dango, because Dango has inherently a good matchup into Zacian. It has a good matchup into Dragonite as well. So I think we can actually still get this W. But in going back to like what you were talking about, you know, you were talking about the new Ray team, right? And, you know, I would say this is like the same idea where like E-Speed can just roll if you get all that priority. I think if this person wants to lead like POW Knight and just E-Speed our Grim, it's something we definitely have to watch out for. There it is right there. So our Grim, if you remember, has Ghost Terra. So you're already doing things correctly. If we wanted to go immediately into Terra to get up our Reflect, that would be amazing. And I think I will pull the trigger here and make that play. I'm not as afraid of them actually going after the Ho-Oh. I'm actually going to, you know, last time we went Protect Reflect. This time I'm actually just going to click Sacred Fire right here and go straight into the Reflect. Yes, you get your one E-Speed off into Ho-Oh if you choose to do it, but I think you're going to try and stop my screens. So I'm going to go for the Reflect here and Ghost Terra. I really like that you went with the Ghost Terra on the Grim. It's the right play. It lets you have an out in this matchup, but at the same time, it also does help against like fake out leads if you need to get your screens up. And so this is not like a 50-50, but like if they E-Speed the Grim, they will lose the game. Like I'm just saying, if they E-Speed the Grim, they're going to be big sad. Because the Reflect will go up, it'll mitigate the damage, we can pivot in the Dango, you know, go for like parting shots of this stuff like that. Like we can have an effect on the game this way. But if they go after the Ho-Oh, like we're going to take like half. Protect, that's the right play, I would say. I love that for them. I love that for them. I wonder if that means they're going after Ho-Oh. Oh, they went for the Grim. Yo. Yeah. See, they used a non-restricted. I'm just going to say this as well. There's a value to be found here. They used a non-restricted to force my Terra, and now my Ho-Oh can't Terra. The good thing is Ho-Oh doesn't really need to Terra into Fairy versus like a Zacian-esque team, so I think this is fine here. Reflex up, I think we're in a good spot. You can double into Ho-Oh. I think what I'm going to do is still just like Sacred Fire the POW, because like we're basically going to be forcing a swap. I don't care if any of those go on swap in and get burned. That's a W for us. We don't need to use Thunder Wave. I think I'm just going to. We don't need a white screen here either. I don't care if they want to attack Grim, but I can just hard switch if I really feel like it. We can double in. I think this is a good play. Doubling here would make it so if they swapped in like Torn, Sacred Fire plus Spirit Break would get it. And if you want to attack me, well then you have to stay on the board, not click a defensive option, and just eat the damage. So yeah, if you attack me, you're letting yourself get hit by Spirit Break, which means if I don't get my burn, you know, it's fine. Now Ice Spinner, they're going into Ho-Oh, right? And we have a Regenerator, so yeah, we're just going to pivot out. So Sacred Fire, remember this move can miss. It's 100 base power. Can we get the burn, Survey says? I mean, we're covering up for our own Never Lucky by doubling into that slot. Never lucky, bro. Never lucky. It's okay, though. Absolutely fine. We have a Dango pivot, get a Regenerator proc. If they bring out a special attacker like Torn, we could have like a light screen. I'm vibing with this, because that Dragonite's stuck. We can actually ignore that Dragonite for like all game. If we just actually take out one more Mon, that Dragonite can never hit our Ghost types. You see the Urshifu right there? We're going to pivot out Ho-Oh for... I'm going to pivot out Ho-Oh for Ogerpon. It's a little bit greedy, right? And I'm going to Thunder Wave this Urshi, because I think that it's going to make it so then we can just bring out Dango and maybe leverage an advantage, or maybe re-bring out Ho-Oh, you know, stuff like that. They crit through our light screen, our reflex, but I still think we have shots here. And let's see what they're going to do. They might just go after Grim. They might just like E-speed the Ho-Oh and go after the Grim slot, which is completely fine. We don't need to be Spirit Breaking an Urshi right now, right? I'd rather get the Thunder Wave and then allow Grimstar multiple future turns to Spirit Break Urshi. So like you can see how Thunder Wave would lead to more Spirit Breaks in the future. E-speed's the right play. Let's see if they just close combat that slot. Thunder Wave, nice, nice. We do hit our Thunder Waves, value. Note that they did not KO the Ogerpon here with that E-speed, so like we can actually just like Horn Leech that slot here. Then there's a full para. Like see how like that extra value, instead of just going for a Spirit Break, we use that for speed control, and then we get a full pair on top of it. Really, really good stuff. And now we can just double into that with like a Horn Leech. Like, what are you switching into? You could switch in Torn. It doesn't really want to swap it on that. We can also just go for like, you could swap in a Zacian. I guess you can swap in Zacian. Do I read that and just cudgel? I don't really think there's a problem with like Horn Leech in this slot. And I might just want to pivot out my Grim. I have an idea. I think the best play here, honestly, is like Ivy Cudgel here and Spirit Break. Because if you don't pivot, you have to eat the Spirit Break. I like that. Super effective Spirit Break, still a lot of damage. Grim is a high base attack. Yep. And so if you're pivoting in Zacian here, yes, you're going to get +1 attack. But Ogerpon has like a pretty decent attack. I think it's like 120 base. We have only 12 investment. And Grim has not 120 base, but we only have 4 points. So it's not going to do that much damage here. But maybe we're going to put them in like range for doing half. And then like next turn we can just protect, put a Thunder Wave up on the Zacian. You see how like we're playing the game at the tempo it needs to be played. And another really important thing, and we can get crits, right? That's also really nice. So I think we're setting up for like a good Dango late game, because now that Zacian's like big sad. Let's see, what is the play here? I wouldn't be surprised if Dragonite were to pivot, because this Ghost type's starting to be a thorn in their side. I kind of want to just protect, like Spiky Shield here. I don't think there's a problem with that, and just go for a Thunder Wave. I don't really see an issue with that. Spiky Shield's good. No pivots, so they're actually just staying in with this Dragonite. Wow. E-speed block. So next turn we're gonna pivot out Ogerpon for Dango, and see what we can get done there. Just free damage on Dragonite's always nice. Thunder Wave. We just missed a Thunder Wave. We're gaming, 100% gaming. Yo, never lucky. This is why I personally like Scary Face. I'm just letting you know. This is why I personally think Scary Face is better. There's good damage there. I needed to hit that. That was really bad for us. All right, so let's pivot around a little bit. We're going to bring in the Dango to block the E-speed. We're going to bring in the Ho-Oh to block the Behemoth Blade, because I don't think we have the resources to... You know what? We might just have to let the Grim go down. Never lucky. Never lucky. They're thinking if they get the Ghost off the board, Dragonite gets unlocked again, but we have a second Ghost. And now they're just like, oh my gosh, there's another one. And I'm like, there's another one. If I hit this, Thunder Wave, we check Zacian with the Dango. There we go. Cool. And I just want to make sure our Dango has enough speed investment. We have 60 points. That might outspeed Zacian. Mess with this for a sec. Zacian, hey, paralyzed again. We get lucky. Sometimes lucky. Set these to 50. We have exactly enough speed to outspeed Shadow Virus, so we would outspeed as well. Yeah, we're completely okay to here to just go big Make It Rain energy. I think we're going to Make It Rain. And turns on Reflexor 2. They're going to pivot out that Dragonite for Urshi, so we're just going to Spirit Break that. And you want to try and protect, you have to go through, like, yeah, you have to, there's the Urshi pivot. You have to go through the chance to get paralyzed. So we're in a really, really good spot here. So Make It Rain, Make It Pain. Zacian's down for the count. What is it? Dragonite's going to be able to re-lock into another move. It could be something like Outrage. It could be something like Stomping Tantrum. But remember, if it's like Stomping Tantrum, they can't beat Ho-Oh, right? So that's like the big thing. Hopefully this gets the KO here. Big Grim, Big Grim. Super effective. Almost, almost. One more Make It Rain and we have it. And I'm not really afraid of Dragonite here. Not really afraid. We could even Thunder Wave it if we really felt like it. I think that would be a good play. I will actually do that. I will Thunder Wave the Dragonite. Yep, so Make It Rain again. And Thunder Wave the Dragonite. And it should be fine. I do still think Scary Face is a better option. Yes, we got a couple pairs, but we also missed a Thunder Wave, right? I think that like being able to always know what you can hit and being able to like side Scary Face yourself in like a TR could be really, really nice. So like you can let them go for like their big Trick Room and then like Ho-Oh just gets speed dropped by Scary Face, really nice. I also think like Thunder Wave kind of clashes with like trying to put burns on things. Whoa, they're still faster than Dango. Even burns. There's Scarf Urshi. It makes sense. I still like this play. I still think this is the right play. Yeah, it makes sense. It's Scarf Urshi. Scarf Urshi would be faster than Dango, even after a Thunder Wave. So let's see. Get some free damage on here. We're going to see what Dragonite locks into, because we're assuming it's banded. It looks like banded to me. So free damage there. We're just one nasty plot away from being able to get our attack back too. So let's see, is it Stomping? Because if it's Stomping Tantrum, Ho-Oh just comes in and wins. Stomping, yeah, cool. We already knew that was going to happen. Cool beans. Dango doesn't even actually care. Just lefties up. Yes, please, we can go for a Protect. Yeah, Ho-Oh, do we want to Protect? Like, I mean, they cannot hit this Pokemon, so we're fine. The only way we would lose is if we like Brave Birded all our own teammates and lost all our health, right? But Ho comes back in, back and better than ever. Might as well just drop a. I mean, I'm in a nasty plot. I don't care if you want to hit us, like, because we're just trying to stick these Sacred Powers. Like, I am assuming that they're banded, and we talked about not losing our typing. Like, we got what we need to succeed. Free damage there. Next one, we're gonna finish off the Brave Bird. We go for the nasty plot. They're gonna Stomp a Tantrum, Rebrack, and Ogre Brave Bird to clean it up, and that's GG's. There's the Tantrum, yeah, they're just showing that they're confirming for us that they are indeed banded, but if for some reason like they weren't banded, maybe that whole time they were like Silk Scarf and making it look like they were banded, and this turn they went for like the last Silk Scarf Extreme Speed. No, Ho-Oh, we did nasty plot there just to keep them honest so Dodango could still be a threat. But as you can see, there's nothing they really have that threaten our Ho-Oh, and Ho-Oh, the inevitable, comes out strong. So remember, they were talking, Lance was talking about having like a problem versus like these E-Speed-esque teams. You have all the tools. I think you might need to facilitate using your Grimmsnarl just a little bit more in the matchups that are problematic for you. I understand that like Ho-Oh and Grimmsnarl are the two that you want to keep. So like you have all the tools to play Ho-Oh correctly with this team. And what we're going to do now is go into a little bit of team fixing. This is the part that I think a lot of people like. So if you want to learn a little bit more about EV training, this is the part where we're going to fix all the EVs, talk about some Terra options, and generally just clean up the team. I'm going to go back to the run to code one more time because I think the team that was submitted is still like a really, really good take on Ho-Oh. I would say that I don't really agree with the Glimmora slot. I think your Glimmora, if you want my honest opinion, should be an Incineroar, maybe even an Amoonguss, but I think Incineroar would actually really flesh out the team, so I'm going to add an Incineroar. I think being able to use Glimmora to like break sashes is a very Reg F, like Reg A, B, C mindset, and in reality, like Glimmora's just a wasted spot. You'd actually be better off with just like a Guard and just putting up a Stealth Rocks if you want like hazards, and that's bad, but it's better than what Glimmora is in this gen in this format in my opinion. So we're just gonna go to the Brawl Battle team so you can see the round to code one more time. And I guess it's not that Glimmora is bad, it's that I think there are better options. I think that like also like Rillaboom and Ogerpon do a really, really good job about alleviating a lot of like weakness to water from like Urshi, Waters, and Kyogres and things like that. So I do think that Incineroar could be a very, very good mon here. Giving you a second Fake Out user, being able to cycle better, you get that parting shot, I think it's really, really good. So thank you, Lance, for submitting the team. I want to go over some of the things that Lance was talking about that they want to fix with this team real quick. Here it is. All right, so if we take a look at this, so they basically are talking about some of their good and bad matchups. So Groudon, they bring Ho-Oh, Real, Grim. So Groudon should be a good match for Ho-Oh, always has been. Kyogre, not the best versus Torn Ogre to bring Ogerpon Wellspring, and I would say it's not the best. We're going to do some cool things to fix that. Calyrex Shadow's a breeze. Ho-Oh's always been good versus Cali Shadow. Trick Room versus Cali Ice. I think you actually have the tools to beat them. Goldango, like they said, is very, very good into Cali Ice. And against Ray, it's hard if they get E-Speeds. We just beat 2 E-Speed spamming teams very easily. Just get up your screens. You rely a little bit more on the Ghost Terror on the Grim, and you should be fine. And say they want to keep Ho-Oh and Grim, anything else can be replaced. They want the team to go on best of 3 and possibly tours. And they also say Ho-Oh is struggling with Miraidon a little bit, unless they rely on terrain. And good Miraidon players don't really just lose to someone using Rillaboom. So we're going to tech for Miraidon, tech for Kyogre, and tech for a couple other matchups in our team fixing. So let's hop into that right now. I think the first thing we want to take a look at is make sure all of the Pokemon that you submit are always doing your EVs for level 50. I think a lot of these EVs are done for level 50, but just make sure that you're doing it for level 50. It's not that hard, and it's, you know, how EVs should be done, because EVs are set differently. 54 right there, that's wasting points in the Ho-Oh. So like actually, yeah, you got to do your EVs right. So the benchmarks that we want to hit are this 112, because this is going to double into outspeeding Calyrex, Shadow, and Zacian in a Tailwind. So you're okay there, or from the same metric by like a Thunder Wave or a Scary Face. So 112 is a good benchmark. Something like 120 and 121 are good benchmarks. So there's going to be able to outspeed Genies after +1, -1s from things like Icy Winds or Bleak Windstorms. We don't have any of those, but we are still going to be able to outspeed other Pokemon who have those same benchmarks. So if, like, for example, if we were to get our Ogerpon to, you know, already is outspeeding. If we were to just get it to like the 121 mark, for example, we'd be outspeeding someone's Kyogre who is made on 121 or 120 to be able to outspeed Torns after like your own Torn, like Bleak Winds or Icy Winds them, right? So we want to be able to outspeed their mons that are made that way as well. I think Lamora isn't a good Pokemon that like kind of likes to get to like that 121-ish area, even though we're probably going to be cutting this for Incin. So let's just take a look at this Dango EVs. I really like the full health Dango, heavy defense specimen. This looks more like a Reg F set, but I think it's a good set. You don't really need that much here, and the 112 is the exact benchmark that you want to do. A little tip that I have for maybe competing in tournaments is speed creeping that 112 into like a 113, because right now you are technically going to be outspeeding base 100s if you had like +1, -1 calcs, but what I would do is I would probably cut that for this to outspeed things that are outspeeding base 100s. That's just what I would do. It's a slight change. You don't have to make it. It's just what I would do. And the normal Terra, that's for Shadow Rider. I think that's fine. I understand the reasoning behind it. It's pretty obnoxious for a lot of people to deal with. It's also polar opposites. Like, what is Goldango weak against? Things like, you know, ghost attacks. You go normal. What are normal types weak against? Fighting. So if they're trying to make a read and think like, yo, I'm going to close combat that Dango, he's going to go normal Terra in an open team sheet. You just don't go normal Terra, and they just throw a close combat in your ghost type. That's really good. So I vibe with this. Very, very cool stuff. Nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah, and you want to put your nature in your highest base stat. Good stuff. As for this Ogerpon, I feel like there are definitely different ways to make an Ogerpon set work. I definitely think if you're going to be using Ogerpon, the lowest amount of attack investment I would recommend, if you're going to go none, that's fine, but like 12 is basically the same as none. So I would actually say I like 76 points in my Ogerpon. This is going to make you actually have leverage on an Urshi Water with the Horn Leech, because right now, like, Urshi Water, it's not that Urshi Water beats us, it's that we're going to have a couple weaknesses to Urshi Water, but you need to be able to actually put pressure on the Urshi Water once you pivot in, right? And Horn Leech is what you use to do that. And you won't actually KO them unless you have like this much investment. So I would actually put at least 76 points in. And then from there, like, you can just do whatever you want with these extra points. You need to get to the 150, right? So what you can do is you could even just go like that, right? You could just leave it at that and then make sure Ogerpon doesn't really need any speed. Like, you didn't need this Ogerpon to be sitting at a 144, in my opinion. I would say what a lot of people like to do is they like to get their Ogerpons to 150, right there, because that's going to be able to outspeed, like, Adamant Urshifu's, right? So if it's like a Mystic Water, Urshi Water that's Adamant, you're going to be able to outspeed that with a spread that looks a little bit more like this. And so I would say, you know, something that looks similar to that, like right here, that's an EV spread that I would like a little bit more. It's still bulky, but it has the correct speed tier, and it hits the right attack number. It's also putting your nature into like a, you know, higher base stat. Like remember Urshifu's over here. Urshifu's rapid strikes. They can be built jolly, right? And the Scarf ones are obviously built jolly, but like an Adamant one is going to get that 149. And so I think being able to outspeed, that's fine. If Landorus is giving you a problem, you want to bump that up 4 more stages to be able to outspeed base 101s. Just keep that in mind. That I think is going to be 196 investment or something like that, but I don't think you really need it. So that's what I would do on this guy. As for the Rillaboom, you never want to have your mons speed tying each other, because like what if there's a situation where like you wanted to use something like a high horsepower or a wood hammer to KO one guy, and you're using Make It Rain, but like what if you use Make It Rain first in a situation where it wouldn't even get the KO anyways, and you're doing spread damage with the Make It Rain where you wanted to have single target Make It Rain? You actually need just a little bit more speed on your Rilla, because I would always want my Rilla to be faster than Dango, and 160 again is getting those same numbers, so you're going to bump that up to 68 as well, because we bumped the Goldango to 13, right? So I think that like having your Rillaboom get to 114 is absolutely fine, and then from there, I really like that you're using like an aggressive like Meadow Plate set, really, really cool stuff. I like it. This is how I would play Rillaboom in this format. I would say you don't need to put points in Spadef without maxing out your HP if you're non-vested. This looks like it was a vested set. Like honestly, there's nothing really wrong with like kind of maxing this out into, let's see, like 179, is 179, or let's see, 179. Yeah, so 180. So this set right here, I would say is just a little bit more balanced, because like you want to still have that heavy HP, so you're mitigating points to your defense as well. You don't have to be using Wood Hammer, but like I think this will just make your Rillaboom a little bit more well-rounded. And again, that speed stat is the most important one. This is also letting you speed creep other things. So when they see your Rilla, you either are going a Rilla at this speed, or you're going like a 0 speed reduced. So if you're struggling with like entities, you want to be able to underspeed those, maybe think about going with like a 0 speed reduced entity as well. So going into the Grimmsnarl, I think the Grimmsnarl has a good enough EV spread. I like to put a little bit more speed in my Grimm, just a little bit more speed in my Grimm. I don't know where you would take points out though. So like I have no issues with the Grimm set in the 2 games that I played, but I like just a little bit more speed. Just letting you know, I usually get to 90 with my Grimm to be able to outspeed things after I Thunder Wave and or Scary Face them. So letting me like outspeed things like Tornadoes and stuff like that with Scary Faces or with Spirit Breaks. So like that's just the reason behind that. So like I usually like to, but I don't really want to dip into any of these. And I also think what you should be doing with Grimm, you should still, I think, be getting like, you're not getting diminishing returns on any of these stats yet, so you could actually put more in HP, but there's nothing really wrong with this set. So we can actually leave that, but the big thing here is Scary Face. So this is going to solve Miraidon, because you can actually speed control their Miraidon. This is going to solve, you know, Landorus. This is going to solve a little bit more of your Trick Room matchups, and it doesn't miss. It's nice getting the Thunder Wave, so Thunder Wave really clashes with like the potential burns from Sacred Fire, having a 50% chance to burn. So I think you're going to get a lot more value out of Scary Face than you think. There's going to be a lot more things you can hit than you think. You can say, I can't hit Clear Amulet, Koraidon. It's like, that's fine. Don't hit Koraidon with it, just put up a Reflect. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Koraidon has a great matchup too anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. I think just try the Scary Face. Let me know what you think. Also, you can stack Scary Faces. You can go Scary Face, Protect, Scary Face again. And then if they tell one Scary Face again. You see what I mean? So it's like, I really like the Scary Face. I would say try it. Let me know what you think. I'm going to make this into an Incineroar. Make this into Incineroar because I think this team, yes, we have Rilla, yes, we have Ogerpon, yes, we have Dango. I think this team needs like more aggressive ways to deal with the Moongus. These are all defensive ways to deal with the Moongus. You come in, you pivot, you follow me away spores. You don't want these guys getting spored. So I think like an Incineroar with a big Flare Blitz could be really nice. I'm going to put the Assault Vest on this guy. I really like Assault Vest, Incineroar. I'm going to go with the Intimidate here. There are multiple different types. We don't need any more Ghost Terras. I don't think we really need any like Grass Terra either. I'm trying to think of what the best Terra on Incineroar would be. I don't dislike Water Terra on Incineroar right now, but there are a bunch of different options. I think a lot of people like the Ghost, but I think I like Water, and the reason is like it's better into Urshi Water. It's solid still into Kali Ice, while also still like losing that ground weakness against like, you know, Kali Ice and Torkoal. It's just pretty solid. I like the Water. Let me know what you think about that. I don't think we want to go Grass, because I'll explain why in just a minute. But Grass is also an option if you wanted to do that. We're going to go Fake Out. We're going to U-turn. I don't think you need the Parting Shot, because again, like we're already seeing like problems where like Incin wouldn't be Incin would not want to be brought against Clear Amulet Mons anyways. There's always going to be that one Clear Amulet Mon. Being able to U-turn is just actually sticking damage, maybe breaking sashes on other Mons and stuff like that. So Parting Shot's like a win more type of thing. I don't think we really need it here. Obviously, it doesn't work on the vest slot. And then Knock Off is going to be very, very nice for being able to knock off all those things. So you can actually still stick those scary faces. And then just the Flare Blitz. And I'm of the opinion that when you want to run Incineroar with like these aggressive items, or sorry, these aggressive options, you need about 60 points in attack to actually be able to OHKO things. This is going to let you OHKO that Zacian, do that big damage against like Amoonguss, the big damage against Rillabooms. So that's what you need here. And I'm a fan of zero speed reduce Incins, but remember, Incin and Grim share the same speed tier, so you don't want them to be the same. So I'm going to get this to 91. This is about as fast as you're ever going to need this guy to be. From there, you can throw most of your points in HP, and then like I would put him into Spadef because we have the Intimidates here. And we have like, we also have like supplements with like Reflex, Spirit Breaks, things like that. So like a 252 and then like a 116.4. That's what I would probably be doing for this Incineroar set. And there's nothing like really wrong with this. I think it's a solid Incineroar set. Should you be bringing Incineroar every single game? No. No, you don't really need to bring Incineroar all that often, but it does help in matchups where they need to respect Fake Out, and Rillaboom is not like a solid option. Incineroar and Ho-Oh go very well with each other. It makes it so you wanna double up on the things you need to do in your defensive options. So like, let's say, for example, they have like something that really pins Rillaboom, like an Alolan Ninetales. Like you can't cycle in the regenerators correctly with like the U-turns on like Rillaboom. Oh, you don't even have U-turn on here. That's crazy, bro. Yeah, so it's like you don't even have U-turn. So now you actually have something you can like cycle in. So like if you had a Ho-Oh and Incin on the board, you could pivot out your Ho-Oh, get a regenerator proc, U-turn, bring it right back in. You know, there's so many little things you can do with that. And so now we can actually cycle our Intimidates, cycle our Fake Outs, things like that. I don't think Rillaboom needs a U-turn, but you just have to hard swap it. And now we actually have like value that we can get out of that. So this is a pretty cool set. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. And last but not least, I think Ho-Oh is good. You're wasting points right here. 52 would be where you get points from. You know, I know you type 54, it's the same number, but like 117 is that no man's land where you're not really getting anything. You need to get to like 121 or go back down to like that 113, and I don't think there's a problem with getting to the 121. We're going to have to cut some stats here, but, you know, Ho-Oh can afford it, right? We're absolutely fine. So again, very similar set to what we're using on the Incin, like 116. I think it's fine. I think cutting just a little bit of defense is fine because now you're also adding an Intimidate user to supplement that as well. And the big thing here, remember we were weak against like Miraidon, we're weak against like Kyogre, Urshis, stuff like that. This needs to be Grass Terra, I think. Fairy Terra is cool on Ho-Oh. It's just like, what is Fairy Terra really getting you? It's making your matchup against like Raging Bolt a little bit better because you don't take that, like you can't get Dragon Pulse, then like it makes Thunderclap like neutral. But like Grass Terra does that same thing. Like Dragon Pulse doesn't really do anything, right? And Thunderclap just really doesn't do anything. And this improves your matchup versus Kyogre, this improves your matchup versus Miraidon, this improves your matchup versus Amoonguss. This also makes it so Amoonguss can't redirect you from actually being able to hit the correct targets you want with your Brave Birds and Sacred Fires. So I really like grass typing on Ho-Oh. It covers up for the fact we're weak to water and electric, which are like the two things that like really give us a lot of problems. Obviously there's rock attacks as well. This makes it neutral. So I like this option as opposed to the Fairy Terra, and I think it's going to give our like a really big change. And that's just my thoughts on it. So that's the changes I would make to this team. And what we're going to do now is just go into Showdown, play a couple games, and see if the changes that we made for the matchups that we talked about come into play. So let's go hop to some games on Showdown. Okay, we see Calyrex Ice with like Fire Pawn, Raging Bolt, a bunch of really cool stuff. I don't dislike Goldango here. I think Goldango's like really good, and I think they're going to be doing their absolute best to get Goldango off the board because Goldango threatens all of these. So I'm actually going to lead Dango and Ogerpon because I think their best way to get it off the board is something like a Fire Pawn, just going hard, right? Because you have to go through big single target attacks, you have to go through the Ogerpon, and then from there we're going to bring Ho-Oh in the back, and I think a Screensmon could be good. We're playing it just on random ladder right now, so we're not going to be doing like open or closed team sheet. I think that just like Grimmsnarl is like a decent mon here because we can also Scary Face our own Ho-Oh to underspeed some of these guys. So I like the Grim. You can also lead Grim Dango, but you see that Fire Power right there? He crits through screens. You want to see your win condition. Sorry, you want to see your loss condition first, and then play around that. So like right now, we can just go like Nasty Plot and follow me, and we're good to go. You can totally go like Fire Terra, get the +1, Woodhammer, KO this guy, but then we bring in Grim, we drop a Terra, and we just start popping off versus these guys. We didn't bring in like Ho-Oh or something and start like exuding pressure because like Fire Pawn shouldn't have a good matchup into Ho-Oh, and so we just need that one turn to get this off. Ivy Cudgel doesn't even KO. That's absolutely amazing. Nasty Plot is free. Know that they were fast enough, so now they Trick Room. So right now what they're doing is they're wasting their Trick Room turns, having to deal with this board, and you can see, like, Water Pond can, like, pin that guy. Like, I actually think we can just click, like, Make It Rain and Ivy Cudgel and just get that thing off the board, because what are they going to do? Like, what are they going to, are they going to, like, I don't know what they're going to do. Like, I'm trying to think, like, I don't think they have, like, an out here. Are you going to, like, Spiky Shield? Like, I don't really care. Shadow Ball ain't doing anything, bro. Like, that's fine with me. Sped F drop kind of sucks, but, like, big damage. Going to pop the Giraffe, maybe. But we're going to be able to take out this Fire Pond, I think. Bonked. Yeah, we got the crit. I don't think we need it. It's neutral. You know, we put 76 points in attack, so that attack boost that we had actually really does matter. So we can protect Dango, get a Leftovers, pivot in the Grim, put up a Reflect, and then, like, I think that we're just good to wall out the Cali at this point. We're only at +1 in attack right now. Special attack, sorry, on the Dango, but I think we're in a good spot, right? I think we're in an acceptable spot. There's the Cali. And we're gonna protect, get a lefties tick, pivot in our Grim, put up a Reflect, and I don't think they just pop us, right? We also haven't Terra'd yet. Like, I don't know what they're going Water Terra. Cool. So we get to see that Water Terra. That's definitely burnable, by the way. Awesome. So do we want to Terra here? I think I want to save Terra for Ogre Pawn. Honestly, I'm gonna pivot out Dango for Ho-Oh. And just put up a Reflect. And I'm just going to start waiting out their screen. Good play. Nice read. Cool. Reflex valuable, though. Awesome. So, like, Ho-Oh, there's one turn left on TR. So, let's see. I'm just going to... I wonder if they have Helping Hand. I don't want to get Helping Hand, like, dumpstered. So, I'm going to do this. And I'm just going to do this. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Just dual screens. Yep, Glacial Lance is absolutely okay. Doesn't even get the KO. That's so nice. D-Wing will take out the Grim, and that's nice. We want the Grim to go down, because now we can bring out something like Ogre Pawn and just put a massive amount of pressure back on the game. Bring out the Ogre Pawn here. We're just going to Horn Leech this and Brave Bird this. And I'm going to go Terra, because I think that... Yeah, we're going to go Terra, because I want to make it so it's neutral damage. Sorry, not very effective damage from the Glacial Lance. Here we go. Get some health back. You can protect if you want. Or not. Like, that's a lot of health I'm getting back here. Take out your Trick Room setter. You can re-Trick Room over here. But I don't think it's gonna... Yeah, I think that's still fine. Like, we can drop a double protect. And then we underspeed both those. Like, I think a double protect here. Note that we never let the Cali get to the +1 attack, right? I think that's the most important thing here. We never let the Cali get to the +1. So I think we're in a good spot. It also is possible... I wonder if they're going to go coaching. That'd be kind of nuts. That would suck, actually, for us. Fake out, cool. They went for the fake out. Glacial Lance, cool. And they're also running out of Glacial Lances. They only have 5 left. So Glacial Lance should not KO Ho-Oh. If we take a look at how much it did last time, it did... Up here, it is 33%. And so we should underspeed this. I think that there are 2 options. We don't know if this is Sash, but I'm assuming that it is. I'm going to Sacred Fire the Mind Shao and just Horn Leech. And I think that should be enough to get it. Yeah, they underspeed, but we hold on. Sacred Fire hits. A burn here would be nice. I've not gotten a single burn, but we do take out the Cali, and that should be the game right there. And close combat's fine. Doesn't even get the KO. Screens are pretty good last time I checked. Last time I checked, screens are pretty good. Brave Bird, and we close it out. So, pretty good game. We let them get up Trick Room. We saw our loss condition. We analyzed what our loss condition. And I think when you're playing like a reactive team like Ho-Oh, what you want to see is like, okay, what do I have to do to not lose right now? And we saw the only thing they really could do to threaten a Gold Dango from dictating play and forcing Terra's, forcing them to do, you know, what we want them to do, is to go big into Ogre Pawn. And you see how we just never let the Ogre Pawn have a chance to get into the Dango. So I really, really like, you know, everything about this game. And let's go into another one and see if we can keep the win streak alive. All right, more Trick Room. This one with Groudon and like Lilligant. And so I kind of vibe with this. If we had Parting Shot, we could Parting Shot that hat. I don't really mind leading like Goldango Grim. I think that's just a solid lead here. Like, what are you really going to do? If I lead Goldango Grim, I can just dual screen correctly. I can pivot out correctly. I have the Ho-Oh as a pivot. You see how I'm leading Ho-Oh in the back a little bit more to cover up for our weaknesses, and then we repin after they basically blow their load. I think it's a good way to look at it. I don't know if we need Instant here. That's probably going to be a Clear Amulet Groudon. I think I'm going to bring the Rillaboom here. Being able to change the terrains, being able to really pin that Garg and the Groudon. I think this is a good game for Rillaboom. Cool. So there's the Groudon, there's the Lilligant, so they're going hard here. So there's 2 things I could do here. I could go like protect Scary Face. I can go protect Scary Face into a second Scary Face if I wanted to. I'm just gonna go for a first protect here. Just put up a Reflect. Easy peasy lemon squeeze. You can absolutely hit this Grim. You can go for Sleep Powders in the Grim. I just need my Reflect. Upper hand, I'm not going for Fake Out, but I respect what they're going for here. decent damage. And so now they still have P-Blades. We could go Terra if we felt like it. I don't think I necessarily need to. I think that they're going to P-Blades and Sleep Powder this. So I'm going to put Rillaboom on that slot, and I'm going to pivot like that. So Rillaboom might be swapping in or not. And so now we get a Fake Out pin, and our upper hand user's gone. Works for me. Speed Booster, so we see its item. And so like we don't really care about a P-Blades here. Yep, absolutely okay. And we're low-key pinning this Groudon. Like, we could go, like, big damage into it if we really felt like it. We have big damage there, too. I'm trying to think what I need to do. Groudon, this might force a Fire Terra on the Groudon. So I'm trying to think if I want to Terra here. I think I might Terra here this turn and just go Sacred Fire trade. I think something like this is nice. Because I want to see if we force a Terra. Protect, cool, works for me. So we're just getting free damage here. I don't mind this at all. Yes, it cost me my Terra here, but I think we're safe in doing that. And so in this turn, Fire Poison. I'm going to go Sacred Fire here, and I'm actually just going to High Horsepower this thing because I want it off the board. Because I think we're conditioning the Groudon to swap, and they don't have anything that does not want to eat a Sacred Fire. Like, Garg is probably their best, but they know I'm using a Grass Attack, so they shouldn't be swapping to Garg. If anything, they would probably swap in Lilligant there. Because, like, Rillaboom just hits so hard with the Grassy Glide and Groudon. They could force a Fire Terra, and I'm okay with that because we still have Reflex up. We have Terrain ticking. I still think so yeah, super happy to force a Terra here. Fiery Dance, not going to be the thing they want it to be. I don't think they're expecting the high horsepower. Yeah, so they're going to be losing their Moth there. And you can P-Blades me again. We take the weakness. Like, it's absolutely fine. We have a Reflect up, right? So I think we're in a good spot here. We're probably going to pivot this Rilla out for Grim because we need to be able to come back in and get a secondary Fake Out pin a little bit later. I still think I might want a White Screen if they have something else in the back, like, what's their last mon? Last mon should be Garg. Okay. And so I think they might try and Sleep Powder me here, and I think I'm absolutely just okay with that. Pivot out there, bring it back here. After you. Big damage. Okay, after you's okay with me. Like, doesn't even hit that move. Like, we don't even have to care. Sash, we get a burn. I have not got a single burn off Sacred Fire. I continue to be the never luckiest person that's ever played this game. 3 turns on our Reflect. I think I'm just going to Scary Face there and just kill it. Scary Face value. Scary Face value. I think Groudon, it could protect, but, like, note that Groudon's not really, yeah, upper hand's not going to work. We're not going for Fake Out or Sucker Punch. So now our Fake Out's uncontested with Grimmsnarl. And we don't need to, we know, oh, he had Stone Edge the whole time. This man has had Stone Edge on that Groudon for 6 turns and not once has used it. What a gamer. What a gamer. Okay. What is your last mon then? Is it Garg? That is problematic. It is Garg. Okay. Garg is a hard, tough cookie to crack. This would do good damage to ground, but it won't KO. I think I actually just want to do like this. And I'm assuming that it's Clear Amulet, but I think we have to roll for it. Protect, hey, it's fine with me. Like, I just want your Garg off the board. Like, we have to get your Garg off the board. It ain't a question of, like, anything else. Like, Garg's taking the L. And Grimmsnarl just does not have enough value here. It can reapply a Reflect, but that's about it. I can hope that you miss P-Blades, which is fine. I don't think it's worth it to Grassy Glide here. I think I'll try the High Horsepower, and I'll try the Scary Face, because like we don't need to even stick damage. Like, we just need Grim to live. Like, Scary Face, yeah, it's Clear Amulet. Okay, it's worth noting. We actually just outsped you anyways, yo. So if we outspeed you anyways, bring in Dango. If Rilla outsped, I bet you they're at 112, and we have 113, 114. I don't think this KOs. I think we need the Nasty Plot. Nasty Plot, Reflect. There's not. We do outspeed, so as long as we don't get crit here, we got it. Fire Punch, nah, doesn't get it. Now we're good. Your Groudon's too bulky, and now we just are fine. So you can see, like, they're outspeeding the Grim, but they aren't outspeeding, like, the Dango. So, like, the extra little EV changes that we made, I think are what is getting us the dub here. Big damage. Groudon, he holds Fire Punch, but nah, it's not going to be it. He doesn't take out the Dango. And Grim even finishes it off. Yo, Grim kind of busted. So you can see the changes that we made to the EVs. The Rilla and the Goldango speed creeping people that think they're safe at that little 112 mark. It's so good. I bet his Groudon only had 12 points. It only had 12. It either had no points or 12, and we outsped both of them by this Dango EV spread that we changed. So really, really good stuff. I think the team definitely works. I could not believe that Groudon sat on Stone Edge for that long. Normally, like, Groudon's always used to carry rock attacks for Ho-Oh, but they just don't anymore. And the fact that, like, I think early on in that game, I think I actually, like, protected or played, like, one passive turn to see if he had Stone Edge. And then, like, he finally just busted it out. I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, that is the changes I would make to this team. Thank you so much to Lance for submitting it. I think they hit a lot of the things out of the park. They got a lot of things right. Just needed some slight changes, and I think a little bit more, like, think outside the box matchup knowledge, utilizing a little bit more your Grim, knowing when to use Ogerpon, optimizing Ogerpon to help in the specific matchups where we were weak against, and then slightly tweaking the Ho-Oh and the Dango to better facilitate our needs. If you guys have a team you guys want to submit, think about checking out the Patreon. Even the lowest tier, the $2 tier, gets access to this post, all the articles I've been writing, all the rentals I've been using, as well as like the regional teams I plan on using for Reg F. Think about checking that out. The $2 tier gets access to all that and parts of the Discord. Really helps me actually go to these regional tournaments. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, think about let me know in the comments below. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. Peace out, and I'll see you guys next time.